Hey, what's up, guys? It's Silcio and Stowaway here, and today we're gonna have a look at the off-tank perspective for Pandemonium 4 Savage. Right. Now, this guide is made for Mr. Zane specifically. Not only do you get to enjoy the world's worst microphone, you also get to enjoy me explaining you this with the implication that you already know most of the fundamental mechanics of the fight. I'll just be going over like what would be different for the off tank in this case to help you catch up. So let's just like watch a playthrough of the last clear that we had. I'll turn down the volume a bit because it's mostly just monkey screaming, which I get is very, very important. Right. Just for the context, I'll also explain Act 1 real quickly. We're doing it the way that Party Finder did it in this one. That might be convenient for you to know, even though when you're on the off-tank perspective, not much changes. It's only really for the main tank that things change on Act 1. Essentially, the idea of it is that instead of rotating to where the boss will form the safe zones, you just always hyper fixate on a single tower. So like you, for example, always get the northeast tower, for example, and you just make it happen depending on where the safe zone starts. Now, like I said, for the off-tank perspective, nothing changes because your safe tower is northeast, and you will either start north or east for this mechanic either way. For the main tank, though, he has to then rotate north or west, because he has to guess the northwest tower. Alright, you can see here starts north. You can pay attention to Fembo if you wanna see what he does for this as the main tank perspective. You can clearly see that he will rotate the other way because he just fixates on that tower. And it would have been the same had it started otherwise. Alright. Act 1, you know, it's not too big of a deal. You get your tank buster, use your mitigations for it and whatnot. Just gonna... Okay, you get the Demigod double, and then you get Act 2. The way that we handle Act 2 now is the Ilya method, which is almost the exact same as we did it, except you don't rotate backwards, you will always just rotate clockwise. So, if it starts in east, you will rotate to south afterwards. If it starts in north, you will rotate to the east. Those are the only two options, but bear that in mind that this time, when it starts east, you don't rotate back north, that you just continue onwards to south. Here you get to see my perspective from tanking to towers, so it might be interesting to see. One bit to keep in mind is that when you soak your tower, you want to be on the left side of your tower. You don't want to be too far on the right side of your tower because you get hit by the AoE, because they slightly like overlap here. You can see the edge is kind of around there, so you wanna keep that in mind. Grabbing the second tower, rotate it. Alright. That's all for Act 2. Alright, here we get Act 3. It's visually a lot more overwhelming than in reality it is. As the off-tank, you have to bait the kick, which I will explain in a second here. All you have to do, you can ignore all of this bullshit that's happening right now. It doesn't matter. All that matters is this. Which side gets started first? This is random. It could be the east side, it could be the west side. You want to position yourself to the opposite side of the side that gets started first. So you can see me, I will move to the opposite side of the boss in a second here, and I will stay in max melee, and that's where I'm going to be baiting the boss. Alright, the boss is going to finish the cast of Wrath of Thorns, do some damage, and then yeah, there it is, the Thorns kick. This will target the furthest person away, which in this case should always be the off-tank. Now, it is important that the moment this kick hits you, you ideally want to pop sprint to get out of that quickly and move to the other side of the boss at max melee, so that you will not bait an Earthshaker. Now, you'll see what I mean in a second here. See, I move away, I move to max melee, so that I will not be baiting an Earthshaker because of proximity baited. And there you go. They got baited by Matori, Rail, and Fembo. Now, after this has happened, there will be a knockback. from the center. So make sure that while you are positioning yourself to the middle, you use arm's length. So you run back to the middle, max melee. You can see that I'll be popping my arm's length for the second here. There it is. Do not forget, you will die otherwise. It's as simple as that. Okay, and then your tower will always be far south. Main tank gets far north, and the melees get the in-between towers. Now you can see the towers on the side here. There will always be the towers at the side you baited the boss to jump to. Okay, so you can greet up melee by standing at the edge. I know it looks like I'm not really in it, but the tower is much wider than the circle would have you believing. So you can kind of play with it. You can get close in and then go to max melee immediately to make sure you don't bait any of the ranged of shakers, because that would immediately cause a wipe. Alright, as good as that. Here there comes a far side or near side tank buster, right after the mechanics. And after that comes a tank buster called Hard Stake. Hard Stake will target the person first and second in aggro for a hit. This hit will be a very mild hit, but it applies a pretty hefty bleed dot to the people that it hits. Now, like I said, this hits the first and second in enmity. So what you can see me doing here is I will provoke it during the cast, so that the main tank gets both hits, because he'll technically be in first place for both. Or he will be in, he will be in place for both hits. He'll be first in aggro when that one locks in, and he'll also be second in aggro when the second hit locks in. So he's going to take both of them, he's going to invuln them. You don't need to invuln this, to be honest. It doesn't hurt that much, but it is just lazy convenience to do so. But it really depends on the tank composition that you have going. Because, like, you can see here, I provoked it. There he goes, he used Bolide. That's one hit. And that's the second hit. Okay, and just like that. Now, Fembo's going to position him back to the middle. He's not the fastest, alright, I won't stand for the slander. He's trying his hardest. We're going to get into Act 4 now. Act 4 is, honestly, it's annoying. Like, I'll be honest, Act 4 is kind of annoying because of the tether breaking. It's really janky. It is very simple, but it's just annoying. That's all there is to it. Okay, so he's going to tether you to one of the spikes. And you're going to get either a purple marking over your head or a blue. If you get blue, you want to be opposite of the nail you're tethered to, plus one position clockwise. So if you're tethered to east, you want to be northwest. Not west, but northwest. One position clockwise of opposite. If you get a purple tether, you just want to go to the tower clockwise next to it. It's as simple as that. You want to pre-position yourself as well, slightly. Not too far, so that you don't break the tether early. That would be an insta-wipe. But you can see here, I get a blue tether. So, I'm going to look at what is across plus clockwise 1. And you can see me pre-positioning. See? And I've asserted my position. Geist is still his fat ass in the way, so I'm waiting for him to move. There he goes. Even though it doesn't really matter, I could have already gone. There is a sharing stream coming here, so generally what we do is you wait for that to come out, you sneak in like maybe one GCD after, and then go to your spot to break your tower, or to break your tether or soak a tower. Alright, see? Now I go. I wait on my spot, it explodes. Now this is like the explosions here will only happen if you have a if you are on a blue spot. If you have a purple one, you need to soak a tower. Which sometimes the tower explosions can be a bit late, depending on when your tether was broken. So you might have to wait just a second. Like, see, Geist was pretty late. And if he would have moved out early, the tower would have detonated. So he had to stay there for a second and wait. So bear that in mind. At the moment it all detonates, you can just jump back in. Okay. The second part, we start to break the remaining tethers, which are the purple people. We start by breaking the north or northeast tether. It's completely random whether it's from cardinals or intercardinals. So it's always the person that's tethered to north or northeast that breaks it first, which in this case is Theas. So you're gonna see that after this happens, everyone goes back to the middle, and Theas is gonna get in a position to break his tether. The rest of the group moves to south/southwest, depending on where it started, to make sure you're not hit by the coming blast. Alright. See? And there he goes. His tether turned to red. And it's gonna break now. And then... yeah, it broke. Okay. Now the next one needs to break. It can't break too quickly, because we get a magic burn from this one exploding. So you have to spread them slightly out. But honestly, the tethers are so irresponsive that that's kind of unlikely to happen unless two people straight up just go out at the same time, which should never really happen. Alright, next person to break it here is Vembo. You can see he's going out, breaking the tether. Okay, good. Moving on. Next one is Geist. You can see he's breaking his tether, moving out. Okay, and the last person to break his tether is Matori. And you can see he's moving out. And there it breaks. And then Ultimate Impulse happens. The reason you have to be kind of quick with it is so that the magic vulnerability from breaking the tether doesn't overlap with the Ultimate Impulse. Because, you know, that would just kill you because of the magic villain. Right. Well, that's done. We are going to move on to final act, which is kind of annoying. You can kind of, in a way, be a little bit lazy with it. But it's still a rather annoying mechanic. We will do the counting. I'm actually gonna turn up the volume a little bit for this one, so you can hear the fucking monkeys yelling numbers. Okay. So again, the first part of the mechanic, these two extra towers come out. And you're gonna get tethered to one, you're gonna move to that one and stay in melee range on the boss. You can see I'm already kind of in position as it spawned. Tempo is the other melee. There will also only ever be 2 melees tied to a tower. So you're never gonna have to give up your melee space. Because the other 2 melees are on the other side of the boss. You should make sure to spread out. Like this, so you get like an X shape. And there you go. That's the first one. Okay, now I'm gonna revert it a bit and let you hear the retarded counting that we do.
Alright.
Right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Okay, so you can see I got hit by number 6 there. That means I need to take the 6th tower in the row. Now what does that mean? That means that he will start tethering a random tower here. And then from that tower, I need the 6th one. Now, it's easy to count backwards when you have 6, because, you know, counting 6 towers is kind of annoying. So you just go to the 3rd one from the last. Now, what I mean by this is here, I'll show you. I'll show you my thought process. Okay, I can see that it starts counting up in the right top corner there, so that's tower 1. Now, I know that I could go good. I could count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 all the way, you know, clockwise. Or I could just count downwards, counterclockwise, because I know that the tower next to 1 is going to be 8. You always know that. So then you go 8, 7, 6, and then I know that I'm going to need the 3rd tower counterclockwise, which is much easier to assess. Now, the people were much quicker than I was in asserting their tower position, so I got the lazy option. I could just kind of like, oh, this one. I didn't really need to think much, I just knew which side I needed to be on, I just sat there. Again, you can sit in max melee and hit the boss, because the boss should be in the middle. Wait for your tower to go off, and that's it. That's act for now right there. There'll be a far side or a near side, followed by a demigod, I believe, soon. So use your CDs accordingly. I living dead this demigod, just, you know, because why the fuck not? I love spining my healers, especially Jeff, because he deserves it. He's stinky man. Yeah, there it is. Demigod double. Yeah, healer mechanics. Alright, curtain call. Curtain call kind of sucks ass. You get tethered to a tower, and you're going to have to run to the opposite side, just the opposite side to break it. However, you don't want to break it straight away. So the way that this works is healers and tanks will break that timer when it hits 6 seconds, and DPS will break it when it hits 12 seconds. One tank is going to get an 18 second, no, yeah. Something like an 18 second timer. And the other tank is going to get a 38 second timer, or 36. Like, it's one long, one short tether. The person that has the long timer wants to provoke the boss, so that when the short tether goes to break the tether, he obviously has to move to the edge of the arena to break the tether. The boss doesn't move, it just stays in the center. Then when that guy comes back, he can provoke it back, and then the other one can break their tether. As simple as that, just so the boss doesn't start shimmying around the arena. Alright, let's just have a look here. You can see what my timer is in a second here. Okay. So first, the tower comes out. The timer is not here just yet, but I can already see that I am tethered to the tower on the right. So I'm going to pre-position myself to break it. I'm not gonna, actually break it yet, but I'm gonna get in position to break it. Okay, there's my timer, 32 seconds. I know I have the long timer, so Fembo is gonna have to provoke it. Oh no, actually no, I can keep it. And then Fembo can break his tether because he has the short timer. I know that because I have the long timer. Then when he broke his, he can provoke it from me, and then I can go break mine. Now there will also be cleaves happening during this. They're telegraphed, but they hit twice. They show you the safe zone. You move into the safe zone, and then after they blow up, you move out of that safe zone into where the telegraph previously was, because they're going to do a second strike in the safe zone. This is just here to spite you, that is all. Okay. So I'm just going to hold on to the boss for now. These are the areas I'm talking about, so you can see. I move into the safe zone, I wait for it to blow up, and I move back in because there's going to be a second follow-up strike now. Okay. So, Fembo should have broken his tether in a second here on provoke, because my timer is approaching 16 seconds. You can see it up here. So I have to start breaking it soon-ish, 10 seconds. So I'll provoke it soon, anytime now. There it is. Okay. Now that he has egged up, I can safely move away from the boss without moving it. I can see I have about 6 seconds left before I have to break, 5 seconds. So I'm just waiting for a second because my partner is fucking late. So I'm just giving it an additional second. Okay, so you can see I'm moving in position to break my tether now. I move into the safe zone, it explodes, and I can safely walk back. There we go, and that's it. And now the other people assume this process. Okay, so that essentially sums up Curtain Call. Curtain Call happens twice, with an ultimate impulse in between, so just mitigate that accordingly. And when the second time it happens, nothing changes. It's the exact same mechanic again. And then after that, ideally, when we have the DPS, we could probably kill it before it. As you can see here, it's pretty close. Unfortunately, we still have to do it. I got a damage down because I'm fucking stupid. And yeah, that essentially is this fight. It's really not much. It's just kind of stupid. Yeah. But yeah, that's it. And yeah, I really don't have much to say about it. It's literally nothing. So yeah, I hope that this was helpful to you, bud. And fuck you.